Can you say hi? Can you say hi? Say hi. I'm so cute. Can you say hi? Hi, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. I am Alexa Curtis, and I am here to inspire you to be fearless through content, through the podcast, the new Unfiltered, and through my weekly newsletter, Stay Fearless or Die Trying. I started as a blogger back in 2011, and I built the site out into this full-time lifestyle platform for young people, educating you guys to be fearless, get out of your comfort zone, and try something different every day. So before I get into this video, I just wanted to quickly announce that the premium version of Stay Fearless or Die Trying, my weekly newsletter that hits thousands of people's inbox on Saturday, has gone premium. So there's a freemium whatever version still, and then the premium version includes a specific call with me that you get if you upgrade. You get a free media kit or PR list, which is something that's worth $150 plus. You also get discounted Be Fearless Summit tickets and so much more. One question right now that everyone wants to know is, how do you monetize a newsletter? How do you build a newsletter? How do you monetize a newsletter? And that's why I thought it would be important to walk some of you through this process, because I have learned some of the ways to do that through building mine up, and now it actually making me money, which is great. A lot of these platforms, podcasts, newsletter, they don't make you any money at the beginning. And so I think a lot of people will go on Twitter, they'll go on Facebook, and they'll see a thread that's like, I'm 17 and I made $1 million last year off of my newsletter. That is 1 in a million. That is not super common, but there are tips that can get you to that level. Just know that when you see stuff like that online, it's usually they're pitching some Ponzi scheme like MLM that they want to have you on their newsletter. And maybe that works for some, but mine has just been a really authentic and organic build over the years. So my newsletter is hosted on Beehive. I used to use MailChimp. For those of you who listen to the new Unfiltered, you've probably heard Tyler's episode on Beehive. So he literally walks us through not only how he built this platform, but also what the benefit of being on Beehive is versus MailChimp.
East Village, okay, in New York. I did 2 years in East Village, shoebox apartment, but super fun. Like different time, different place in my life, but to be 23 in New York, I'd say the first 2 months, like very wide-eyed, right?
I used MailChimp for years, and not only do I think it kind of sucks, it's so technical and I find it just annoying to use. Now, I pay $99 a month for Beehive, right? So on a month where I'm not making any money from the newsletter, hopefully that doesn't happen, but of course that's a possibility. That's going to suck. So $99 a month, it's worth it if you really are taking this seriously like I am. Stay Fearless or Die Trying, my newsletter, is something that I'm building to be an additional revenue stream for the Be Fearless Summit company. And so if you're taking it seriously, I would do that $99 scale plan. If you don't have thousands of subscribers yet, you probably can get away with the free one. I don't know. I think maybe they're all free for 30 days and then you have to upgrade to something. So regardless of which one you choose, just be aware that do it based on how serious you are about building out the newsletter before you go and invest $100, $1,200 plus a year on doing that. So we've got Beehive out of the way. That's what I'm using right now for the newsletter. Some of the ways that you want to build this newsletter are definitely organic. So I posted a video last week about literally going up to people at a hotel and getting them on my newsletter. I just asked them. I will do that anywhere I am. Nobody unsubscribed from that batch of 6 emails I got that day. Of course, there's a possibility that they will. But when it comes to a newsletter, you really need to not only keep your subscribers engaged, but you also need to keep the people who have been subscribed to you for years engaged. So the way to do that is you'll see if you are on Beehive. I don't know exactly how to do this on MailChimp. I haven't tried this out, but you can definitely do it on MailChimp. You'll want to do specific segments. So after, say, 30 days, if you go through and all of the subscribers who you have, 20% of them or 15% are inactive, you're going to want to set a target segment out to those people. So you're going to want to re-engage them. I did this a few weeks ago. I went through, I looked at everyone who has not opened an email recently, and I went ahead and sent them an email with an incentive to start opening my emails again. I offered a free media kit, a free PR list, or a media list. You can buy these all on my website too. But the benefit of that is that hopefully people will say, oh, okay, yes, I'll start opening these if you give me something for free. I mean, this is just super basic sales tactics. So even though it's not necessarily like if you go up to someone at a store and you're trying to sell your candles to them and then you don't hear back in 3 weeks, you're going to go back to the store, right? It's the same thing. You've got a customer who is on your newsletter, the same that a customer at Whole Foods would buy your pizza or your candles, whatever. They're not buying anymore. They're not opening anymore. And so you want to re-engage them, offer them something for free, offer them a discount, offer them a coaching call with you. Whatever it is that fits in whatever it is that your newsletter is, do that. So once you're doing that, probably once every 3 months, re-engaging people, because the more money you make from the podcast is based on how many people and how high your open rate is. Now you can start realizing the way to get in front of more people is by, sure, going up to people at coffee shops or hotels if that floats your boat, but trying Reddit and Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. Reddit and Twitter to me have been the most successful leads in terms of scaling the newsletter. And the way that I do this is I have actually started waking up an hour early, and I will go on Reddit and I will literally type in newsletter, and I will go ahead and respond to everyone's newsletter thread. I mean, the first like 5 to 10 new newsletter posts or threads, subreddits. And I will just say, do you want to subscribe to mine? And I'll subscribe to yours. Sometimes the newsletters, I only do it to newsletters that interest me that someone's posted about. But for the most part, I will do that and I will DM those people. And I've gotten really organic conversations from newsletters about responding to people's Reddit threads and vice versa. And I think that's a really awesome way to do it. You can also go ahead and post your own thing on Reddit. I did one post a few weeks ago and I checked my subscription history on the back end of Beehive. And that one post that I did that I linked to my newsletter, it was just a basic story about myself, got me like 25 new subscribers. Now, this is all free marketing. This doesn't cost you anything. It just takes your time. So it may be worth waking up an hour early or staying up an hour later on the weekdays or weekends. I now even started doing this on Sunday to start getting newer people to convert to subscribing to your newsletter. Now, the second thing that I would suggest doing is Twitter. So I'll go through anyone who is following me and basically copy and paste the same message like, hi, do you have a newsletter? I have one. I'd love to introduce you to mine. Here's a link to subscribe. Gotten a ton of subscribers from that. I'll also go on Twitter Spaces and either host my own space, or I will look at, in the search bar, I'll type in some of my top keywords: personal branding, marketing, public relations, entrepreneur, influencer, and I'll respond to people's tweets and then follow them and send them a direct message. You might be thinking, you're following people that often? Look, following someone is not going to change your life. It's not going to kill you. Can we please all stop the days of thinking, I need to be following 5 people and have 50,000 followers? You can keep doing that. I'm going to stay over here on the making money side, because that theory is just entitled. While you're building it, you should not be following 2 people and having 2,000 people follow you and not engaging with that other community of people. So go on, search up whatever it is that your topic is, consulting even, freelance work, respond to people's tweets, and then copy and paste, a basic tweet to them saying, I'm introducing you to my newsletter. I also really like Spaces. I've started hosting those on Twitter. And when people start engaging during the discussion on Twitter, which so many people do on Spaces, obviously we'll follow all of these people who are listening to what I'm saying. And then, of course, I'll send them a message after being like, thank you so much for subscribing. Here is a link to my newsletter. Thanks so much for listening to the talk. Here's a link to my newsletter. I'll also do the same thing on LinkedIn. Now I have a free newsletter on LinkedIn, and I've been converting a lot of those people who are subscribed to that, because anytime you connect with someone on LinkedIn, it automatically subscribes them to your newsletter. I'll go ahead and send them a message as well. Hey, I saw you're subscribed to my LinkedIn newsletter. Can I get your email and subscribe you to my weekly one? And for the most part, people say yes. So now we're talking about advertising. So there are a lot of ways to do advertising. Now on Beehive, what I really like about Beehive is they actually have a program called Boost. So you can take other newsletters and they'll pay you to refer people. So you have a newsletter coming out on, say, Saturday. I'll go ahead, I'll look through what the boosts are for that week. I'll submit, because mine's startup entrepreneurship based, I'll submit to apply to other newsletters in that space. Some are up to $800 per send. It's crazy. So you can include one boost in your newsletter and they will literally pay you. Another newsletter will pay you for the subscribers that you're able to refer to them. Now, this is not instant money. They track this. So if you, after 2 months, I think, or 60 days, if someone unsubscribes, you're not getting the money. So this is money that can come in pretty fast, but is also tracked. So you need to be aware of that, because that's not how it works. This is not just super fast, quick money. Like I said, and like I always say, this is about the build. This is about learning how to sell. This is the proper way to do it. So you can go on Beehive, you can do the boost. Now, I love cold pitching advertisers. I talk a lot about cold calling in general. And a really simple way to do that is you just start looking up, ask ChatGPT, find me 50 brands in the space of woman's nail polish. Find me their websites. Go on, find a marketing contact, cold pitch yourself to that marketing contact. Say you're building a newsletter, you have 2,000 subscribers, 5,000 subscribers. Would they want to pay you $100 for an ad in your next newsletter? And a lot of times you're going to get a lot of brands saying yes because it's super easy, fast money for them. They don't need to get it approved. You're not going to them with like a $50,000 or $30,000 budget that they need to get approved unless you've got a major newsletter. And you can really start, if you have the time, pitching 10, 20 brands a month. Hopefully that'll make you 1,000, 1,500 a month. So not only do you want to focus on getting money for this newsletter by reaching out and working with those advertisers, you also want to equally work on growing it. The more newsletter subscribers you have, the more you're making. So if anything, I would even focus on the build first as much as you're focusing on the making money part of it. Okay, so now you've built up this newsletter. Maybe you have 20, 30,000 subscribers. What the F do you do now? Well, you keep having engaging content. Maybe you want to make another newsletter on your website, or maybe you want to go and list your newsletter on a website like duuce.com. Now, this is a website where people buy and sell other people's newsletters. So you've got enough following now, and you can go ahead and sell your newsletter on a marketplace. Like you would go to Fiverr or Upwork and sell your consulting services. You can now do this with your newsletter. Now, there is a lot of possibility if you build up a newsletter following with 100, 200,000 subscribers where you can end up selling this to like a private equity firm in the future or going down a morning brew route. But if you're like, this is fun, I don't really like this, I don't even like to write, then you definitely should go ahead, get your newsletter listed on this website. I will link it in the video description below and see if you get any offers. I mean, look, if you've built up a newsletter and you haven't made that much money off of it because it takes a while, then 18, 20 grand for this newsletter that you have built up is awesome. Your work has now paid off and you can go and start something else. So these are just some tactics that I have found to be really reliable for the newsletter. I am very focused right now on the build part of the newsletter, the getting more people aware of it, authentically creating these connections, something that a lot of people don't necessarily do on TikTok and Instagram. I don't often DM people on Instagram like, hey, this is a little bit about me. Join my newsletter. I just find people on Twitter, people on Reddit, people on LinkedIn a lot more responsive to that business type of interaction, where people on TikTok and Instagram just want the quick, catchy content. They're not necessarily looking to be your fan for life. They're looking to be your fan for the moment. So keep that in mind as well. If you want to be an influencer and a traditional content creator, then you should be using TikTok and Instagram, of course. If you want to build an actual company, then you should be looking more at LinkedIn, Twitter, Reddit as your resources to doing this at the beginning. So I hope this helps some of you who are looking to build and scale your newsletters. I will also link in the description of this video my interview with Tyler Dank, the co-founder of Beehive, so you can hear directly from him how Beehive is revolutionizing the newsletter landscape. There will be a Be Fearless Summit pre-sale coming out very soon in the next week to week and a half. So make sure that you do subscribe to Stay Fearless or Die Trying. And if you like what I say, then subscribe to the YouTube as well. And if you upgrade to the Fearless version of Stay Fearless or Die Trying, you get a one-on-one talk with me. I will walk you through how I have built this company and how you can also build your own startup, along with give you advice on any of your ideas. So I will see you guys on Friday for a new Fearless Fridays video. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.